The Miami Dolphins did it again. Another move, another twist, another thread pulled in this wild 2025 NFL draft tapestry. Just when it felt like the board was settling, just when it seemed Chris Grier might sit tight, he flipped the script. No fourth-round pick anymore. Instead, the Dolphins handed the 116th overall pick, plus a little seventh-rounder, number 224, over to the Houston Texans. In return, a third-round pick in 2026 and a little consolation prize at 179th overall for this year. You hear that and immediately wonder why. Why trade away a pick now when the roster feels like it's crying out for help this very moment? How does it make sense to push value into the future when trenches still need bodies, when depth at cornerback seems paper-thin, when the offensive line looks one rolled ankle away from chaos? It's tempting to stare at the compensation chart, nod and say, well, technically, the Dolphins won the trade. Sure, fine, they did, by the cold math of draft points. But value on paper does not protect Tua. Value on paper does not stuff Derrick Henry in December. Value on paper does not win playoff games. Not by itself. Is this about something bigger? Is Chris Grier playing a longer game here, beyond the noise, beyond the desperation of immediate needs? Because if you look closely, the Dolphins aren't behaving like a team panicking about 2025. They're stacking chips for 2026. They're hedging against risks they won't even admit publicly. They're moving like an organization that thinks it will still be sitting at the same table a year from now. Does Grier believe his seat is safe enough to think a year ahead? It certainly feels that way. Otherwise, why not grab a linebacker today? Why not snag a nickel corner right now? Why not address the holes we all can see, wide open, glaring under the Miami sun? Instead, they move back. They wait. They trust the board will give them scraps good enough in the 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds to plug the leaks. They gamble that the core, Tua, Tyreek, Waddle, Chubb, Wilkins, is enough to ride out the storm until reinforcements come later. They lean into the unknown. Meanwhile, over in Houston, the Texans sprinted to the podium and grabbed USC's Woody Marks with that pick. A running back. A weapon. Someone tangible, someone now. A reminder of what was left on the table. It's hard not to feel the tension. Miami came into this draft with 4 picks in the first 4 rounds, for opportunities to load up for a title push. Instead, after a few wild moves, they leave with just 2. Kenneth Grant, the defensive tackle with an engine that doesn't quit, and Jonah Savaiania, the mountain of a man slotted for the offensive line. Savaiania cost them dearly, too. Remember, to move up and grab him at 37, they had to send away their 3rd and 4th rounders, plus a little kicker in the 5th that came back. Aggressive? Absolutely. Necessary? That's the debate. There's no denying Jonah brings muscle the Dolphins desperately need. You don't push 330 pounds of Polynesian power into the lineup and not feel the earth move a little. But when you package 2 solid picks to get him, it better work. It has to work. Otherwise, all these extra picks in 2026 are just prayers written on paper. And what about Kenneth Grant? A bulldozer in the middle, a man designed to eat double teams and still get home. He feels like a safe pick, but the question lingers. Does he transform the defense? Or does he just make it a little sturdier? If you believe in building from the inside out, maybe this draft is a masterstroke. Fortify the trenches, secure the foundation, and trust the stars to make plays. But if you think the Dolphins needed immediate firepower, another weapon to keep up with the AFC arms race, this draft feels like a whispered apology. The bigger picture, though, keeps nudging at the back of your mind. Maybe that 3rd rounder in 2026 isn't just a future pick. Maybe it's currency. Maybe Grier sees a veteran shaking loose later this offseason, a corner, a linebacker, someone unexpected, and he wants the ammo ready. Maybe it's not about patience. Maybe it's about positioning. Or maybe it's fear. Maybe the Dolphins, looking at their cap situation, at their aging core, at their window that never seems to stay open as long as it should, realize they can't fix it all right now. Maybe they're bracing for impact. And yet, isn't there a part of you that admires the gamble? That tiny part that whispers, good, don't chase, don't reach, play smart, play long. Because if Miami pulls this off, if Savainia locks down right tackle, if Grant becomes a terror inside, if that extra 2026 pick becomes the catalyst for a major move, we'll look back at today and see brilliance.